Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a 1-month update from May 5th, 2025, selling in the money covered calls. Alright, so in this graph, you can see that between my money deposited and my net profit, we have that total cash flow of $1640.73. You can see while I did that, I managed to add $1,345.52 to IBIT. So anybody who's just holding shares throughout this move, they'd only have their money deposited flowing into their total money added to shares. And then also the fact that Bitcoin's been squeezing so much since I've started selling against it. I've been rolling up a lot throughout the weeks to try and get more net profits. So it also surprises me that I've added $320 on top of. Because if you look here, this was when I started selling against Bitcoin at 53.42. You can see prices up a good amount since then. About like 11%. Then for DraftKings, this is more of probably what's bringing in the cash. This one's been pretty flat. Only up like 2.5% from my entry. So as your open P&L in shares moves up and down, that affects how much money you're adding to shares. So as it goes down, that money turns into cash and your money added to shares goes up. And then as it goes up, your total money added to shares goes down because you're buying back contracts for more values. And since I'm still up $651 on my shares, I can still keep selling against them, and unless one of my trades goes below my break-evens, I don't lose a single dollar. And I turn all of that open P&L on my shares, I can turn it straight into cash added to shares. So over this past month, if I were to have just held shares, I'd still have my 100 DKing shares at 35.01. Then I'd also have 116.804 IBIT shares, which is 5.2 less than I have. And then I'd have zero net profit because all of my money would be open P&L because I'm not actively selling, I'm only adding to my positions. Then your positions would be worth what IBIT is, plus what DKing is. And then we subtract that from my current account value, and you get that $65 more profit. Also, the way I calculated the 116.804 shares is I took the average of the 22 shares recently, and then I divided that from the money I've deposited, since that would be the only money you're putting into IBIT at the time. So your account value would be $65 higher, but it would be all open P&L, and you'd have 5.2 less shares, where all of my gains are realized, and I have 5.2 more shares. So if you wanted to make cash, you'd either need to start selling off your stockpile or deposit more money. So is $65 really worth the risk of letting the market do what it wants to you instead of taking control of your trades? And that's not to mention you're honestly a lot further behind, because your account value's up $65 more, but to generate those extra 5.2 shares that I'm ahead, you'd need to sell right now while the stock's at a good price, and then buy back once it's at a cheaper price, which I consider risky or gambling. So you can see here I started with $9,855 when I started selling calls. Then I ended up with $10,468 at the close. My shares were uncovered in the after hours, it didn't matter. But we can see here I made that $613 net profit. I have my money in IBIT with 122 shares, and then I have my DKing 100 shares. So overall, I made $613 of net profit. I deposited $1,027 into my brokerage, which led to a cash flow of $1,640. I bought $1,345 in shares, and then my shares still have $651 of breathing room until the cost of entry. So the shares bought and the breathing room lead up to $1,996 leveraged out of my $1,640 cash flow. So that's an extra $355 of cash flow via credits. Alright, if you want to join my Discord where I keep everything live updated, the link will be in the pinned comments. And then also I'll leave a covered call tracker in the description. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments, and then drop a like and subscribe.